Hey guys, how are y'all? Okay, Noah said he wasn't able to do any work. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna work on a paragraph of James chapter 3. Okay, that's what we're gonna do.
All
All
right.
right.
Uh,
So go ahead, Noah.
I'm not gonna show my face because I just got hit by a. I was playing rough with the football earlier, so
Okay. All
weird
right.
stuff.
Got you. No problem. You don't
Okay.
have to show your face. What, Janet?
Sorry for that, Noah.
Yeah, it's okay. I gotta stop playing so rough. Sometimes I can't catch the ball being so fast, but I just gotta get my hands out. But yeah, yep, uh, happens.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm waiting for. Why is my website having trouble loading? Bible.org is not loading fast. Let me try. Try one more time. It looks like the site might be down. That's all right. Well, there's another option. Bible web app. Y'all need to learn about this site too. So let me share my screen. It'll come more in handy later on. But so you have this Bible.
Working?
No, it's not working. It's not loading. So you could go to Bible web app, and this has the Septuagint and other things like that. So if I click James 3, and then switch this one. So you got lots of different translations here. You got the Westcott and Hort. You got the SBL Greek. We'll go with that one. And let's go to James 3. I don't know if it's going to be easy to see the paragraphing. But if not, it's fine because we can get our paragraphing from that other site. Okay. We can go to Bible commentary.org. You can get your paragraphing from here. Andrew Farley, that's the wrong guy. Free Bible commentary.org. That hyper gracer sneaky.
Yeah, that's hyper. That's the end. Gosh, I can't say his name.
That.
Hyper Grace.
Yeah, we wanted this one. Yeah.
Yeah, Hyper Grace is very prevalent nowadays. I wonder if it's more prevalent than Free Grace, though.
No, I don't know. So here's James 3. So this is telling us in the UBS 4, chapters 3, 1 through 5a is one paragraph. So that's all we're gonna work with. Okay. So we'll keep it all the way up to 6. And we'll evaluate things later on. But all right, so I'm gonna bring this up to say 16-point font. Okay, and I'll put a note. I'll say this is a Greek paragraph. I don't know why that's so small. And it's 3, 1 through 5a. So now the next thing we do is we look for punctuation. Okay.
Right.
So we're looking. All right. And we want to look for periods.
No flying periods, though.
Right. No flying periods. Good, Noah.
Dude, there's an ease. That's future.
Okay, well, we'll look at that in a minute. We'll look at that in the future. Get it? All right. So if I did that right, then that's telling me that there's a Greek sentence. Greek sentence for 3, 1, 2, 2A. Let's use some colors here. And then this would be Greek sentence 2B. And this one would be Greek sentence 3. And then this would be Greek sentence 4 through 5. Okay. And actually this would be 5A and this would be 5B. But we're not going to do 5B because it's not part of the paragraph according to the UBS 4. Maybe the UBS 5 included it, but we're working what we got here. All right. So, because this is our main unit, okay, that means this is going to be our subunits. So we could say Roman numeral 1 is going to be our Greek sentence level, okay? And we're gonna let me copy this and then move it. So we'll delete this. All right. We'll do the same thing here. So by this standard, there's 4 divisions of this, a Greek sentence level, okay? Now there's more involved in that, but we will talk about that in the... Did I erase more than I was supposed to? No, I didn't. Okay. So the thing is that we have to evaluate this now because we also have a semicolon right here. And so what a semicolon is saying is that there's actually 2 points underneath this. I wish that would be an A, but it's not doing that right now. I can change it. Where is it? Set numbering. It should go up, but it's not doing that. Continue from previous list. Maybe I could trick it like that. So no. Continue from previous list. I'm gonna just skip that. I'll just leave it at this low level right now. I got to get that outline fixed. But what I would do here is semicolon. Okay. And then I would just say period. Or stop. Either way it works. So the semicolon, it would be 3, 1, right? 3, 1B. And the period would be 3, 2. Okay. So let's go ahead and make these different colors so you can see it a little bit better. And so that divides things up to that level. Semicolons. Yeah. Now there are commas, but we'll deal with commas later. We can copy it again. And get the comments out of there a little bit later. We don't need to take anything here.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. You're very blurry. I mean, you're sounding kind of robotic or something. I don't know, kind of blurry.
Can y'all hear me clearly?
Yeah, no, I can.
All right. So the problem is probably you. Are y'all hearing me clearly?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So in this one, there is no semicolon. So what we'll do is we'll just keep rolling. In this one, there is no semicolon, so we'll keep rolling. But we get into 3, 4, 5 right here, and we do see a semicolon right here for verse 4. So we'll say semicolon.
Wait, that's not a semicolon. What are you talking about? That's a flying period.
A flying period is a semicolon in Greek.
Oh, okay. Well, wait. What? I thought that a semicolon. Oh,
Semicolon in Greek is a question mark.
yeah, semicolon. Yeah, but were you referring to a semicolon or a colon in general?
A semicolon in Greek. Okay? In other words, the Greek punctuation. Look. Listen to me. Where'd it go? You see that flying dot? That is a semicolon.
But I thought that they have like an apostrophe on the top, right? No?
No.
Not in Greek? Oh, okay. I thought. So that would just that does convey a question, right?
Oh my goodness. I know this is tricky. Okay. In English, okay, watch this. In English, a Greek period is a Greek period. Okay?
Yep.
In English, a semicolon is a Greek question mark.
Yep.
In English, a colon is a semicolon in Greek.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Got it?
Yep.
I know it's tricky.
Yeah.
That's confusing.
I know. But yeah, that it is what it is. Okay. So then this would be 3, 5, 8. All right. All right. So then we got commas. Okay. Now the thing is about commas is if you see verbs, and I'll show you a verb, but we'll just divide by commas. So you got a comma for this one with this first semicolon. So that means you're going to have one part on one side of the comma, and then we'll just say stop. But it's not a stop. It's a what can I call this? I don't want to call it a colon because that's just going to confuse things. Oh, I know what. Greek semicolon. Greek comma. Then we could call this a Greek colon. But it's a semicolon.
Is
my.
Is there any difference?
Hold on.
I'm sorry. I'm speaking too fast.
All right. So I'm just going to put the word stop. That's the symbol we're going to use to describe that. All right. So that's going to divide up in that way. And then we'll look at this in the English in a minute and see how it divides. It doesn't have to be so accurate right now. I'm just showing you how to make an outline from what's already here. Okay, so you got one comma. You got, all right, so that one is going, 3, 2 is going to have 2 categories as well. And they're going to be commas. So this would be Greek, comma, Greek. We'll just say stop. All right. And that would be this one would be a different color. Let's go with green. All right, so now we're to 3, 3. You got a comma here. So it will be comma and then stop. All right. Now this one you got comma, comma, and there's the conclusion of the colon, and then that's it. So in this example, you would have comma, stop, and then 35A would be by itself, no comma. So that's that. So here is your outline, okay, based on Greek punctuation. Now that you have that, you can go in and let's just pull the NASB out. James 3, 1 through 5. All right. Okay, so 3, 1 through 2A is right here. And so 3, 1, okay. And then you have the period. Let me think about that. Actually, I did that wrong too. Give me a second. Okay, it goes right here, I think. It's easier to do in Greek than it is in English. Go figure. At least for me. Okay. And then you got the rest of 2. Looks like it all goes together. Oh my goodness. All right. And then Greek 2B, well, that's going to go on the next line. So I guess it's this one. Okay, I see the problem. I don't know why this made that form, but we'll make it work. All right, so 3, and I'll show you another way to do this. Where you don't make the outline until later. Like the way I did it initially, it's easier in the Greek to do. Okay. So let's go ahead and make this same size. All right. So it says, "Let not many of you become teachers, my brethren, knowing that as such you will incur a stricter judgment." So the first part, "Let not many of you become teachers, my brethren," is, you could say, James warns that not many should become teachers. And let's color that. Let's go with this. Knowing that they will incur stricter judgment. And so you're like, okay, that makes sense. And so you could put these ideas all together, but you could say because they will receive a stricter judgment. Right? That would be the translation, but you could break this down and say James warns that not many should become teachers because they will be held to a greater standard of accountability. So, all right. Now we just
So really, all you're doing is you're seeing the verse and you're just gonna write down what you have from seeing that verse. Like,
yes, yeah, your descriptive summary, yes. There's
I mean,
other things we
actually,
would do. Go ahead.
that seems even better because you can see the verse while you're writing it down. So
Yeah, you can do it this way. There's different ways to do it. Uh,
yeah,
he reminds them that all stumble in many ways. Okay. If anyone in some ways a perfect man, able to bridle the whole body as well. So you could say only a perfect, and perfect wouldn't be the only a mature. How about I try this? Only a, yeah, I'm gonna go with mature. Mature man will bridle his tongue. Bridle his tongue often. I'll say often because I mean it's not. He's not even talking like, okay, this is always going to happen. So yeah, you can delete those. All right. So you see right here, this Greek semicolon and Greek period. You can just bring this up if you want. All right. And you can say, all right. He reminds them of that. And let's space this out. We can do 1.5. That's fine. And then so all of that is one Greek sentence, okay? Even though it's 3 sentences of ours, it's 1 sentence that way. And then James gives the illustration of a horse guided by a bit compared to the tongue. All right. And then so this one, James gives another illustration of a ship guided by a rudder for the tongue, or the tongue's influence, you could say. All right. Even though the rudder is small, like the tongue, it has a huge influence in life. Something like that. It can cause a metaphorical forest fire. All right. So you got 3 descriptive summaries, right? And from these, because I broke them down by the Greek, it makes it more accurate. I could have done it at the verb level. There's more that we could have done, right? But so the issue is that warns that not many should become teachers because they will be held to greater standard accountability. He reminds that all stumble many ways. Only mature man will bridle his tongue often. So I'm going to condense that even more. And I'm going to say something like this. Warning concerning teacher. Warning for potential teachers about the standard of accountability that especially involves the tongue or speech, involves, I'm going to say, sanctified communication. So, that's a little bit better. So let's reduce that down. James gives the illustration of horse guided by, right? So these are just illustrations. So I would say the horse illustration, or the horse bit illustration. And then here, the rudder and fire illustration. You could have kept this or you could have left it, but so then now what you essentially start seeing is his main structure is warning, okay, warning, reasoning, and illustrations. So if I were to make this into a structure, I would say like this. I would say Roman numeral 1, warning to potential teachers. And then actually the way I would do it is, well, yeah, I would say Roman numeral 1, introduction. Roman numeral 2, exposition or explanation. And then I would say warning to potential teachers. Then I would say exposition. So this is all about a warning to potential teachers. The reason for the warning is the accountability factor. Then 2 illustrations to support the warning. Okay. The accountability factor concerning communication gifts, you could even say. So 2 illustrations support the warning, but it's not 2, it's 3, I think. So I might say 3 because I heard fire in there too. So we could say 3 illustrations to support the warning. Horse bit, rudder, and force, and fire, or spark. Hey, tokenomics. Now, if I wasn't pressed for time, I got a few more minutes. Can I change your life, sir? What do you mean by that?
Like, what do you mean by that? Who's that? Table.
Yeah.
Wait,
And
I don't
then,
have
so this
eyeglasses.
would be conclusion, challenge idea here. And see, that's just the basic structure. All right. Now, all the other stuff that I did, even though I was dumb to erase it, if I would have kept it in there, I could have put it underneath as support for all of this stuff. But, you know, that's life. Let me go ahead and play one of the videos that we did a long time ago from the James thing that supports some of this stuff. Did I ever show you the video on inversion and on synthetic summary? I don't think I did. Let me see.
To whom are you asking?
Noah. Because I'm trying to get Noah caught up. Let's try this one. We gotta turn the ducks off. Alrighty. Okay. I turned the ducks off.
Tolkienomics. Tolkienomics. You are out of. I think you are wandering here.
Welcome to the Layman Seminary. Today we're going to be looking at how to find the exegetical idea of a biblical passage.
Did you see this one, Noah? Noah.
Noah said, "I'll be right back." He's doing something.
All right.
Passage part 2. The previous video I explained that the exegetical idea, it means that it's
Oh, a better tool for charts? Yeah. Obsidian for notes and for its notes and save my life. No, that's good. That would be great. I just there's going to be a learning curve for me to how to learn it.
just another word for explanation, or another term that I use is a descriptive summary. You're focusing on the Bible world and the past. Well, whenever you're making an exegetical idea, there's some things that you can do. Substitution, expansion, reduction, and inversion. And I'm going to talk about these today as we do that. But before I do that, I want to, let's see, wrong place. I want to go here. Sorry, I need to close my Facebook. This person, this author, is a member of our church, and he's been a blessing. I've interviewed him before. He's also has a book called The Fallen that's going to be a Hollywood movie. It's going to be produced and all of that, and you can watch a video about that. But anyway, I'm mentioning this book because it's called The Unashamed: Learning the Inductive Method of Bible Study. And so this is a book that Clay wrote, and in it he talks about these steps: substitution, expansion, reduction, and inversion. So I recommend that book. It is helpful. Now, we can close that, and we can go to Bible.org. Last time I talked about freebiblecommentary.com so that you could find the paragraph divisions, and it doesn't look like Bible.org is loading. I'll try one more time, and if it doesn't load, then I'll skip that step. Okay. Well, My original intent was to do the next passage in James, but that's okay. We can work with what we already have. So let's say we pull from our passage, let's say right here. This was my exegetical idea from the last video. I could come here, and you can do this with the scripture, or you can do it with, after you got a rough idea, you can come back through and say, are there words that I should substitute? And whenever you're using substitution, you're saying the same thing in other words. Okay? There may be parts in here that may need clarification. So you might ask the question, is there something I need to expand or elaborate on? And I've kind of done some of that in here, and I'll show you all that in a minute. And then there's reduction, where you use less words. So you could say, can I simplify this anymore? Or inversion, can I rearrange this so that whenever I share it or explain it to somebody else, I have it in a different flow that reflects the text? Okay, so when we come up here, James, a bondservant of God, and the Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 who are dispersed abroad, greetings. Basically what you see is that like the Lord Jesus Christ, I made a reference to him being the anointed man. I was trying to use other words as substitution, but also to clarify and things like that. So the reason these are helpful is because whenever you go to make your exegetical idea or to write it, you can use these methods right here, these steps, to be able to write it in a more concise way. I guess that's it. I'm planning this video to be short, but I didn't know it was going to be this short. So I will close this one out, and if y'all think.
All right, so here's the next one.
Welcome to the Layman Seminary. This is part 3 of how to find an exegetical idea of a biblical passage. And as I begin today, what I want to do is I want to just review briefly what we've done in previous videos. In part 1, we wrote out an exegetical idea, basically a summary statement that came in a free flow way. Of course, it's tentative and it's preliminary because while we're coming at this from a synthetic perspective, analysis needs to eventually be done in order for it to be a true exegetical idea. And I will give full definitions for the exegetical idea and what it's supposed to accomplish in later videos. But I begin right here because I'm trying to bring in the English student of Scripture, the one that doesn't know the original languages, that may be limited in those types of ways, but is still able to come to a pretty good accuracy by using these methods and tips as a stopgap method idea. Okay, in part 2, we dealt with refining that method. And that was through paraphrasing, through substitution. I got to remember them all. Substitution, expansion, reduction, and inversion. So you can see that in that previous video. And then in part 3, we're going to line upon line it. Basically, break everything down according to punctuation and just make a comment about each one and then put it together and synthesize it. So I like to rhyme, and so I got write it, refine it, line upon line it, and synthesize it. That may help you remember that process that way. Okay, so this is my passage. I went ahead and pasted it in there, but I'm going to show you wherever you can get it from. There's several places where you can get access to the Bible online. One of them is Bible.org, and what you would do is you would go to Bible.org, and then you would go to study, and then you would hit Lumina. Well, let me scroll down like this. Lumina. When Lumina opens up, you'll see right here, this tab selects the book that you're going to. So we're going to James. So this right here, we're going to chapter 1. This tab right here selects the translation. I'm going with the NASB in this video. And you see right here that it's already divided up by paragraph. So all I did was I pasted that in there. The idea with paragraph is that there's one main idea, one thought that is involved there. And we'll deal with that in a little bit other videos. But let's take a look at this real quick. Consider all joy. Okay, there's a comma there. My brethren, when you encounter various trials. knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance, and let endurance have its perfect result, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. Okay, so I could say something, I could put this underneath or up beside, but I could, let's say I'm going to change my font, and I'm going to feel low. 1 second. May not be able to change it. Yeah, there it goes. So I could say something like this. James commands his readers to consider I'm going to put their experience. And since they were scattered in the previous, their experience while as scattered Jewish Christians. James commands his readers to consider their experience as scattered Jewish Christians from the perspective of joy. Okay? So this is the attitude, this is the outlook that they're supposed to have. My brethren. You could put, you could just abbreviate this if you want, or you could use complete statements, but you see that this is a term of intimacy. It's a family term, and he's not just referring to just because they're Jews, but this refers to the Jewish Christians. So we're talking to believers only. Okay? Now, when you encounter various trials, all right? So right here, this is temporal concerning the time. Temporal experience of trials. Okay, knowing. So this is the reason. So you could say reason is the refinement process produces endurance. Okay, something like that. And let endurance have its perfect result. In other words, trust. Well, I would say trust the process, but that's more of a principle. And let endurance have its perfect result. Let me think. Yeah, I'll say that. Don't short change the process. I know that sounds like a principle, but we can work it in. So that you may be perfect and complete. Because the result or purpose is maturity and wholeness, perhaps even integrity. Okay? And then and it's being described as not lacking anything. That doesn't mean the Christian won't go without things. So anything, let's say, needed. Well, we'll just leave it alone. You would qualify it if you're drawing a principle from this text, which is a later step. You would qualify that. So what I do now is I'm going to copy it, and then I'm just going to paste it again. This time I'm going to erase all the black. Okay. We could have divided things up by sentence and talked about subpoints and all that, but we can do that in other videos. So we're erasing it. And then you could come back and you could restate it. You know, using the steps above, you could substitute words, you could clarify. But if if just for the sake of time, I would say that it would sound like something like this. James commands his readers to consider their experience as scattered Jewish Christians from the perspective of joy. And he uses terms of intimacy when he says this before providing the reason for why he said it, which is that this is a refinement process that will produce endurance. And therefore, he's encouraging his audience to not shortchange that process, which its intended result or effect is described as not lacking anything that, and I would clarify that, is not lacking anything that God wants the Christian to have to fulfill his purpose. So that's it. You can see right here that you work with a paragraph. Paragraphs are manageable. Some are short and some are long. But this broke it down into that approach right there. And so in the next video, we'll go to the next paragraph. So that's it. How to find the exegetical idea of a biblical passage. What we focused on here is the line upon line and then synthesized it. We kind of made comments about each line.
You want to hear something crazy? If I was looking at this correctly, let me make sure. No, never mind. I thought my time was synced to 2018 to be an exact time. But now this one was done at 4:51 a.m. and this is done at 11:20. So my bad.
Observations. And then we put it all together. And I know I didn't rewrite it or retype it, but I did it orally. And so you could actually see how that process is. So be sure to subscribe to the Layman Seminary.
We got time. We got time for this one.
At part 4, how to find the exegetical method of a biblical passage. Still in the book of James, chapter 1, we're going to be using it for an example. Now, in the first video, part 1, we talked about writing it out seminarily. In the second video, we talked about refining it through paraphrasing, substitution words, inverting words, reducing words, those types of things like that. In part 3, we talked about breaking it down line upon line according to punctuation, making comments on the passage, and then synthesizing it. In part 4, we're going to be emphasizing it through what's called thought flow or phrasing. So I like to rhyme things to help me memorize things. So write it, refine it, line upon line it, and emphasize it. Kind of rhymes all together. So for the sake of time, I've already got my passage pasted in. This is James chapter 1, verses 5 through 8 of the NASB. So there is my passage. Now, I already also, like those cooking shows that you watch wherever they're making something and they don't have time to cook it all through the process, so they already have things to the side. That's what I'm doing here. So this next step is you break it down according to punctuation. All right. Now, here's the phrasing, basic or thought flow. Basically, what you're doing in this is you're just moving the words around to how you think that they're flowing. It's not diagramming. It does not have to be grammatically correct. It's just for your purposes, for your use, or maybe even to show somebody else. Okay, you have that. I'll explain in later on videos about key words that you can use to help indent things over and know what's going on. But right now, I just want you to be free to do it however you feel led to do it. It's your flow. Okay. Now, whereas before, whenever we were writing line upon line, we were writing out more than one word. Here, the goal is that we're kind of just writing one word or maybe two words that describe how the passage is functioning or how part of that passage is functioning. So like right here we have, but if any of you lacks wisdom, so we have a contrast with the but, and then we have an if, so that's a condition. Let him ask of God, that's a command. Who, so this is a description of God, gives to all generously and without reproach, and it will be given to him. So that's the result. But he must ask in faith without any doubt. Of course, that's a contrast. For the one who doubts is like the surf of the sea. That's a reason with the for, but it's also a description of what the doubter's like. And then the elaboration of that description is driven and tossed by the wind. For, so this is an explanation or the reason. For that man not to expect that he will receive anything from the Lord. And then it describes him more. Being a double-minded man, unstable in all his description. So that's in all his ways, actually, what it says. Okay, so you could take that right there, copy that, and then delete everything except for the blue words, and you would have this: contrast, condition, command. You would have all those relationships involved there. Then you could go back and you can look at your passage and you could write something like this, and using these words to modify your exegetical ideas so that we can understand the logic, the flow of things. So, for example, maybe something like this. In contrast to the Jewish Christian that doesn't shortchange a refinement process with the attitude, the way where one can shortchange a process is given. Because I talked about in the previous video about the refinement process, that we're to count it our joy, that brings about the maturity and endurance and all of that. But here, what can shortchange that process is given. When they find they're in the condition or situation or being at their wits' end, in other words, when they lack wisdom, the command is to ask God for that wisdom, because God is described as genuine and gracious. The result of asking God is wisdom will be given him. The condition of receiving the wisdom contrasts faith with doubt, that is described as surf that is wind tossed. The reason the condition of faith is given is because a doubter should not expect anything from God, because he's described as a double-minded and unstable all around. So that whenever you write your exegetical idea, it's going to be choppy like this, and you can simplify it down to one sentence. There's a lot of things you can do, but one of the things that I'm probably going to do right here is I'm going to simplify this. If I were making an outline of this, I would say contrasting condition. Then the next one is command. And the next one is result, but since we got C's, I'm going to use the word consequence. And I'm not spelling that right. All right, then we have a contrasting.
Hey,
A contrast again.
Go
I
ahead,
just
Noah.
want to ask. I want to ask? Did you change it to a video just because you had too much to write or something, or you just wanted to drift it off to a video just to like explain your words more?
I finished what I did in the other video, but no, the reason I'm doing this video is because I created this series for teaching the things that I'm teaching you. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to show you, okay, yeah, you can go watch these videos on your own, but I'm trying, just like what we're doing with the Greek videos, we're going back to the older Greek videos to try to bring you up to speed, and other people up to speed. We're doing the same thing now, with the inductive stuff. Got
Gotcha.
it? All right.
And it's given the contrasting reason. Let's see. Perhaps we can break it down like that. So in short, what this passage is doing, I know there are descriptions in the passage, but the descriptions are secondary to these main points. Because the condition or contrast is that when a person lacks wisdom, they need to ask of God. That's the command, to ask of God. And the consequence of that is that if they ask in faith, then God will answer them and they will hear that. And the reason that it must be according to faith is because a person that doubts is unstable in all their ways. So that's it. So actually right here is something that I'm going to be doing in the next video, is about, well, probably the next video is making outlines from this. So you can clearly see how this is very helpful to trace the flow of the passage, to make your exegetical idea more accurate, and also to develop an outline of your major points to summarize it. And you could go back and you could write out a simplified exegetical idea that's not as bulky as the first one, not as polished. I mean, that will be more polished. But of course, I did that orally just now, so I will close with that. So in short, hopefully you benefit from this process. Be sure to subscribe, share this video with others, and let us know what you think. God bless.
All right. Yeah, no, I'm just working with whatever you bring to the table, whatever I can add for now, but also pulling from those videos until we get caught up. Once we get caught up, we're gonna go deeper, you know. So it's just so it's sort of like I was explaining. It's sort of like those cooking shows where you don't have time to cook the whole meal right then and there, but you can show different, parts of the meal. Like this is what it looks like at this stage. This is what it looks like at that stage, and go from there. Got it?
Gotcha.
All right. Any final thoughts you want to say before I land this plane?
Well, I kind of came in a little bit later, but I did see that you were just, well, you were really explaining, just the basics of, the James chapter 3. And I mean, I think, when it said drifted and tossed to sea, what does it say? That was a good part. I
That
think I
was
remember.
that was chapter 1. You're right. We were working on 3, but the video we were just watching is working on chapter 1.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Janet, anything you want to say? No. Okay. Well, tell the audience. Tell the audience about the plane.
Oh, really?
Yep. It's time for me to do the
Guys?
other stream.
Okay, guys, the plane is on the ground.
God bless.
Mayday, mayday.